Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me for our live tarot session today, September 11th, 2024. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. So let's start out by giving a shout out to those who are early in the chat. Good to see you, Gandhi. Much love, Christy. Good to see you, Barbara. Good to see you, Nikosmas, Geronimo. Much love. Thank you guys for joining me. It's a beautiful day. So we're going to start by talking a bit here about our astrology. So we are in an interesting moment. We are in what's called a void course. We are in the last remnants of that moon in Sagittarius as she moves into Capricorn. And that should happen around 11 o'clock or so tonight, I believe, maybe a little bit earlier. But the point is we're in this transitory moment of shifting energies and change where we move from that frivolous, that adventurous, that optimistic, outgoing Sagittarius to the practical, the grounded, and the planted Capricorn, right? That embodied beauty, that builder of towers, right? Powerful change in the energy. So we need to be aware of this as we go through this transition. You know, now we're going to be shifting more to that practical side. And now is the time to really pay attention to the self, to pay attention to the earth and to nature and to be embodied, you know. And what I mean by that is to listen to your physical self, to feel it to its depths. You know, we often take for granted our health. We take for granted the signs that our body provides. Now is an opportunity to truly connect with that, especially as we have this sun in Virgo, right? That bright, hardworking, pure energy of transformation and growth through disciplined action, right? When you combine these energies, these two earth energies, Virgo and Capricorn, you can build whatever you want. You can go to the depths of the self too. You can really know yourself from that intellectual, analytical side and from that embodied, unconscious side, right? So take advantage of this moment. Take advantage of this moment. It's beautiful energy. And embrace those last lights of optimism and community that Sagittarius brings, because it's always such fun and bright energy, you know? All right. And I wanted to talk a bit about our title today. Listen to the body in the natural world. It's because I drew the Queen of Discs. And then I noticed we're moving into Capricorn. It's just, it all kinds of lines up. Didn't plan it that way, but that's how she unfolded. And this is the message that Capricorn is strong, right? That earth energy is strong right now. And now is the time to really go into that natural, connected, earthbound being, right? Sit in the self and just be. Just be. Your body will have so much to say. And I wanted to read a really fun poem. It's called Self Unconscious by Thomas Hardy. Along the way he walked that day, watching shapes that reveries limn, and seldom he had eyes to see the moment that encompassed him. Bright yellow hammers made mirthful clamors, and billed long straws with a bustling air, and bearing their load flew up the road that he followed alone without interest there. From bank to ground and over and round, they sidled along an adjoining hedge. Sometimes to the gutter their yellow flutter would dip from the nearest slate stone ledge. The smooth sea line with a metal shine and flashes of white and a sail thereon, he would also descry with a half-warped eye between the project he mused upon. Yes, round him were these earth's artistries, but specious plans that came to this his call did most engage his pilgrimage, while himself he did not see at all. Dead now as sherds, the yellow birds, all that mattered has passed away, yet God, the elf, now shows him that self, as he was and should have been shown that day. Oh, it would have been good could he then have stood at a focused distance and conned the whole. But now such vision is mere derision, nor soothes his body, nor saves his soul. Not much some may inclined to say, to see therein, had it all been seen, nay, he is aware, a thing was there that loomed with an immortal mien. Go to the depths of yourself, and you will see the truth of all of these images. You will see the truth of that perception and what that means. All right. Beautiful. Let us begin our reading today with our Ganapati oracle. So Ganapati Ganesha is that divine child, the Lord of beginnings, guardian of the threshold, the Lord of the spirits, the Ganas. Inspire us this evening, send us a message, and ensure that our words are heard by those who need to hear them. So Ganapati, what is the message? All right. Courage. Wow, courage. And look how he is sitting. He's imitating the great mother, Durga, upon the lion. Beautiful energy here. In that divine imitation, right? Embodying that courage and that strength of the one who protects their children with the fullness of their being that only a mother can bring, right? Powerful energy. And we need to have that courage in this moment, that strength of conviction, that strength of self. And, sometimes going into those unconscious steps requires that strength. In order to face what truly bothers us, we must be willing to admit the truth of ourselves and see us with eyes unclouded. And that is difficult. It is so difficult, but it is the beginning of reason. If you cannot be reasoned about the self, you cannot be reasoned about the outside world. And yet we are so disconnected from the self in much of our modern society that we often just go through life uncritical, or we see those who go through life uncritical, who judge others to an extreme standard that they would never hold themselves to. And hypocrisy is just completely over their head, yet they engage with it every day. And those are extreme examples, of course, but understand that you need to be honest and you need to look in the mirror and be reflected in all of your beauty and all of your ugliness and all of the complexity that is the self, right? And have the courage to face it. Have the courage to face it. All right, we're going to begin our sortes. For those of you unaware, the sortes is a form of bibliomancy. That is divination through literature, and it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition. And we invoke the goddesses of inspiration, the divine muses, and we ask them to guide our hand and to send us a message through the text. And today we are going to begin with Egyptian Tarot of Thelema, by Oliver St. John. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Oliver St. John in the Egyptian Tarot? Inspire us. The most harmonious expression of the suit of swords and the decanates is the Six of Swords, Lord of intellect and reason. The most harmonious expression of the suit of swords and the decanates is the Six of Swords, Lord of intellect and reason. Hermes in its most primal form, right? That absolute balance of the six too, where you can move and think in equal measure, right? Where you are still flowing in the universe, but you are not overthinking and preventing yourself from action, right? The sixes are always the most stable, the most foundational, the most balanced, that middle way. And reason is that power to be able to move between the poles, to make the judgments as necessary, right? The middle way is not a straight road, It is a winding path that requires reasoned action. Sometimes you may have to act from an extreme vantage point. Only you can decide that. The course is yours and you must walk it, right? Let's continue. Lewis Carroll. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Lewis Carroll? Inspire us this evening. The voice was rich and musical, and the speaker dexterously whipped back the snowy cloth that covered his baskets and disclosed a tempting array of the familiar square buns, joined together in rows, richly egged and brown and glistening in the sun. Well, for those of you who know me, I see Hecate everywhere. The voice was rich and musical, and the speaker dexterously whipped back the snowy cloth. The dexterous voice in the snowy cloth, interesting imagery, that covered his baskets and disclosed a tempting array of familiar square buns, together in rows, richly egged and browned and glistening in the sun. What do we offer to Hecate? We offer her cake and buns. Isn't that interesting? That's fun. Okay, let's continue. We're now going to go to Rabelais, Gargantua, and Pantagruel. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Rabelais? Inspire us this evening. During that period of sedition, they summoned to their aid the emperors, kings, dukes, monarchs, counts, barons, and corporations who dwelt upon the terra firma of our continent. But there was no end to that schism and sedition until plurality was brought back to unity, when one of them was plucked from this life. Oh, wow. Look at this. During that period of sedition, they summoned to their aid the emperors, kings, dukes, monarchs, counts, barons, and corporations who dwelt upon the terra firma of our continent. But there was no end to that schism and sedition until plurality was brought back to unity, when one of them was plucked from this life. This sounds like empire rights. You know, this sounds like Akhenaten, Heliogabalus. You know, this sounds like Hail Christo. We'll just say that. Interesting. Interesting. All right, let's continue. Edgar Allan Poe. All right, muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Edgar Allan Poe? Inspire us this evening. She had been in his employ about a year when her admirers were thrown into confusion by her sudden disappearance from the shop. Wow. You know, we often hear these tales of the muse. And what's interesting here is that Edgar Allan Poe is probably one of the greatest proponents of said tales of the muse. These stories in which the muse comes into our life and then is arrested from us. She dies, she is taken, she is lost. That connection is severed. You know, what was once so awe-inspiring and admirable and consumed the entirety of one's vision was gone. And then that person can no longer handle it, right? They freak out. Think of Ligeia, right? Think of Ligeia. I always tell people to read that one. That's my all-time favorite Poe story. Also, Morella, which is sort of a companion to Ligeia. Interesting. All right, let's continue. Three Musketeers by Dumas. Okay. Muses, got my hand. What is the message from Dumas? Inspire us this evening. Remember that I affirm nothing and that I only suspect. This is such beautiful language. This is such beautiful language. Remember that I affirm nothing and that I only suspect. We must understand that truth in its fullest absolute essence is denied to us, and that we can only glimpse it through that exploration of perspective and through the extension of our own perspective through tools and communication, right? We are limited and bound. That doesn't mean we shouldn't strive for truth, that we should not shine our light, but we must understand that it is only a suspicion, an idea, right? We are trying to solve a mystery, and we must be open to changing our mind, to receiving new information, to changing the direction, to seeing new perspectives, right? To ever expanding that ray of light that we shine. Beautiful. Remember that I affirm nothing and that I only suspect. Beautiful. Wow, that's beautiful. Okay. Jaguar Priest by Pedro Pitarch. Or Jaguar and the Priest, sorry. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Pedro Pitarch? The priests began to try to unite villages and arrange them in the manner of a sociable republic, so that they would be more quickly assembled at mass and sermons and all that was necessary for their government. For this purpose, first they made a plan so that everything would be built the same. First they established the church, larger or smaller depending on the number of inhabitants. Next to it, they placed the priest's house. Excuse me. In front of the church, a very large plaza, different from the cemetery, opposite the house of the regimento or council. Next to that, the jail, and near that, the inn or hostel, where visitors would find lodging. The rest of the village was divided by a rope, the streets straight and wide, running north to south, east, west in a grid. Once this was done, the most important part remained, and this was making the Indians want to move in. Wow. This is an interesting thing to discuss and to think upon, that enforced uniformity, right? Planned community for the sake of what? Keeping people controlled under that lens of the priests, where the church is the center of the town, where everyone is in that community and togetherness. There's good here, and there is also not good. Not good at all, right? This is the essence of that colonialism. You know, it makes me think of Dune, of all things, and how the god emperor in the later books enforces uniformity and conformity. He provides everyone with a home, but everything is the same. Everything is the same, like a grid, all trapped in, you know, perfectly ordered, stagnant. All right, let's continue. We are now going to go to Aleister Crowley, book 4. Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Crowley? Inspire us this evening. One cometh after him, whence I say not, who shall discover the key of it all. One cometh after him, whence I say not, who shall discover the key of it all. And that's always the case. There's always another who will find the key, who will unlock the gate and open the way, right? And with Crowley, we're always looking for that divine child to come, right? Harpocrates reborn, Phanes, Dionysus. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's continue. We are now going to go to our tarot proper. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, please reach out. You can email me, snappydtts@gmail.com, or you can find me on the Myth and Lore Discord. I'm Snappy or Lady Snappy. And we are going to use the Thoth Tarot of Lady Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley. And we are going to invoke that god Kronos. Oh, we have our center card. We're going to invoke Kronos. We're going to ask them to dissect our life, cut it up and put it on the plate, and show us our interconnections, and teach us how we can rise above the conflicts of the moment, how we can learn to move and flow, and how we can best actualize our true will. And what is the greater message for our community? So here we go. Our center card, which came flying out, is that Empress. It's that Empress, right? The Empress is such beautiful goddess energy. This is the woman in her totality, right? You must see that duality in the extremes of her nature as well as everything, right? She is both Aphrodite Urania, that mother who is pure and above us all, that virgin, uncorruptible and undefiled. And she is also Aphrodite Pandemos, the lover of all, who loves all and gives to all freely, who makes love to her creation, right? Who gives birth to infinite diversity, right? We have to understand that this feminine energy is complex. And we have to connect to it in the fullness of what it represents, that creative energy, right? That nurturing energy, but also that warrior energy, that virginal energy. There's so much here and it is so intense. And when we see this Empress card, this is always about connecting to that feminine, connecting to it in its totality, trying to understand what it means in this moment, right? What is this coming to? Look to the moon, right? Immediately think Capricorn, right? Our moon is moving into Capricorn in this instant. And that's that intense, embodied, grounded energy. And the message is to go into the body, to go into the self and listen to the self, right? And everyone has that feminine. And we all, in our current society, we all kind of struggle with this connection. Whether you are cis female or not, right? It's beside the point. We all have to go to the depths of this and think about it to see this side of ourselves. We are all born of that mother, right? Okay, let's continue. Connected to that Empress, we have the Chariot, movement, creation, building, pursuing that desire, donning one's armor, taking responsibility and moving in action towards that desire, towards that Empress. The message here is about taking responsibility and moving in action, pursuing love, right? When I see the Chariot, I always think of the story of Arjuna and Krishna, where Arjuna is faced with impossible tasks. He is faced with having to confront and do battle with his friends, family, and loved ones. And he would rather do anything else. But what does Krishna tell him? No, this is your responsibility and this is your moment. It is unfortunate, but it is what it is. And you must don your armor and do what is necessary. Don your armor, move in flow, and pursue that connection to her, whatever that means for you. Let's continue. And it gets even more certain. We have the Knight of Cups. That's that outgoing energy that pursues love in that reciprocal flow, in that mystical loving flow, right? Who seeks that intimate connection, right? Who seeks that connection of flowing communion through touch and love in emotional depths, right? Beautiful. And this is that energy of pursuing after that connection, of offering love and receiving love. And you're connected to that divine feminine. So it's about pursuing this love, right? And being in that reciprocal connection, donning that energy and going forward. Beautiful. Let's continue. What's the energy here? Connected to that divine empress, we have indolence, right? Indolence. And I always remind people when we see this indolence energy to focus on the numbers in the cards clearly, right? We have 4 cups that are flowing in equal reciprocation and loving mutual flow. And we have 4 cups that are broken with nothing to offer, right? You must show up with something to offer. We want to move beyond the limitation of the 7 and transform this into the 8. Right? We want to move it into balance, or we want to reduce this even, right? We want to focus on our loving connection and embrace that 6 that is the pleasure, the middle way, right? To be in reciprocity and in flow. That's the energy, yeah. What I'm seeing here, right, is this is about knowing who to connect with. This is about this focusing on this energy, right? On the energy that will be in that loving reciprocity with you. A lot of this energy is that it may be attractive, but it's not, it's got nothing to offer, nothing to offer. And you're being drained, right? You're being drained. Focus on the energies that bring you connection. Move back into that loving flow of pleasure. All right, let's see. Yeah. Connected to this energy is this birth, giving this new creative avenue, right? The divine child, the princess of discs, right? That divine birth in the suit of the earth. Incredible energy, potential to grow and to transform. This could be an actual birth on the way, but it could also be the creation of a new project, a new building, a new job, but something that is created in unity with others, in community, and something that must be nurtured and cared for, right? The Princess of Discs has the potential to become the Empress and to become even greater than the Empress. They can become anything they desire. They can become the Knight, right? They could become the universe itself. But in order to achieve those heights, she must be nurtured and cared for. She must be nurtured and cared for. And what we're seeing here is that we have that indolence energy. We need to refocus. We need to connect to this in loving flow. This energy needs, right? Again, we have that Chariot, which is about taking responsibility. This is a responsibility, you know. Children must be nurtured and cared for. They must be, right? We have to overcome that energy here. You can't stay like this. Let's continue. Yeah. On the other side, we have the success, material success. Interesting. You know, sometimes when we are in this success and we are in this abundance, it's very attractive, right? The 6 is that perfect balance. It's very clear to everyone when you are in the success, right? When you are in that security. It's beautiful energy, but it also does bring attention and desire in those who wish to seek to attach themselves, right? And I'm not saying that these people are negative, but if they cannot show up in that reciprocal flow, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself, right? You cannot give to those who cannot flow with you. It's just, it won't work. It won't work, right? and you're attractive and you have all the success and all this abundance, use this success and focus on this. Focus on her and providing for her. You can. You have the means, right? See where this is going. Interesting. Okay. So this connection to the Empress is bringing new avenues of creation, new potentialities in the earth, new physical reality opportunities that are going to come. Interesting. It's beautiful, right? These coming from new perspectives and new beginnings, new ways of approaching life. You have to engage this energy, right? It's powerful and it's expansive and there's potential, but you must take that leap into it, right? You got to build. See where it's going. Interesting. What we see here is that pursuing a new direction and taking responsibility and fixating on the discs, this is hard, right? We have the success, we have this Princess of Discs, we have the connection to the mother, but what we're seeing is there's a lot of worry as we're changing focus. What I'm seeing here is, again, right? It's about learning to connect to that Empress. And connecting to that Empress is bringing in all this change, right? All this change. You know, and it's causing one to have to take serious action and responsibility. You know, and it is bringing success, but there's always worry here. You know, mentally, am I enough? Can I do it? Can I handle it? You know, can I take that responsibility? Can I don the armor, right? Can I meet the Empress where she needs to be met, you know? But look, right, that 5 of worry is 1 away from the balance of the 6, that perfected intellect of reason, which we even saw in the sortes, right? Reason is the key here, and you have to be reasonable about the situation and recognize what's actually in front of you. You know, embrace the success, embrace the loving connection, and don't worry so much about it. You know, and the energy with the 5, right, to get into that 6, it's about trying to see things from an expanded perspective. You're worried because you're not seeing it clearly. You're not seeing your situation with enough understanding. There's more at play in your favor than you're giving yourself credit for. So take that step back and really think about it. Why are you worried? Where's the concern lying? Because it's not something that is being found in the present, right? Let's see where it's going. Perfect. Oh my gosh. Couldn't have called it better. Couldn't have called it better. Right? We overcome worry by moving to this reason and seeing things clearly with that balanced perspective. And part of that balanced perspective is about connecting to her, right? You do not achieve reason on your own. Okay, this is something that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people struggle with. The true reasonable actor gains new perspectives, ever broadens their light, works and listens to others, and uses it to expand their own understanding. You do not approach reason without loving connection, without engaging from another's perspective, right? Okay. We're going to flip and take a look. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference. It boosts everything in the algorithm, and I would really appreciate it. Good karma, lovely blessing. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, reach out. You can find me, snappydts@gmail.com, or you can reach me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady Snappy. We're always hanging out. We have a great community. Many of the lovely people in the chat are there. Come have a good time. All right, let's take a look. All right, here we go. Here is our full Saturn square. We start here, the Chariot. Yeah, this is very clear, you know. In order to manifest this princess and to engage with this princess, we have to take responsibility. We have to move towards her. We have to do what is necessary to protect and defend her. And this is causing that worry. Are we enough? Can we do what is necessary? But the energy here that I'm seeing is you can, when you combine with her and you approach it with that loving energy, right? The key here is about doing it, overcoming the worry, right? Moving towards reason. Beautiful energy. Pursue that loving connection. Manifest this into reality and take responsibility. Nurture her and she will blossom into the most profound beauty imaginable. Transform the universe in all reality. Let's continue. All right, the mother, the empress, right? This is about learning to overcome this kind of indolence energy, to focus on this loving connection, to be in that feminine connection, right? Here's what I'm getting to, right? Like, the mother always kind of has to deal with this energy. The empress always has to deal with this energy. For better or for worse, those who embody this empress energy, and anyone can embody this energy, right? We all embody it at different times. But anyone who has ever embodied this energy has dealt with this. Those who want to possess, those who come in with that negativity and that unreciprocal energy, right? Unreciprocating energy. But what we're seeing here is to overcome this energy, you embody her, right? You take the lessons from her. How does she handle that energy, right? How does the true empress in all of her grace handle that energy? She only connects with those who flow with her. You know, you do not receive if you cannot give. And this is also about taking new approaches, right? New approaches to building and thinking about these connections in new ways, right? New ways. As we're building, and there's these people who are coming around who are interested and who are trying to connect with less than desirable intentions. We have to be able to handle that, right? Interesting. And we want to also be in flow too. We have to take responsibility for ourselves and give attention to those who deserve it, you know? Okay, let's continue. Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups, if they embody that reason and you pursue that loving emotional connection in that reciprocal flow, the success is materialized, right? The success is materialized when we follow reason, when we expand our perspective, and when we pursue connection and communion in that reciprocal flowing loving energy of the water. Then we will manifest success in our reality. But we have to also show up in that mature, outgoing energy, the one who goes out to share and connect emotionally, who moves towards that empress, right? And does it in that reasonable way, through reasonable action. Let's continue. We're now going to look at our crosses. Okay. Yeah. So the success in this connection is leading to that worry. And what it is it's about, there's such a desire for the success in this connection that there's this fear that can we materialize it? Can we materialize it? Can it truly manifest? But it is here. The success is here. The connection is here, right? It's about moving towards it. It's about pursuing it, you know? The worry is unfounded. The worry is coming from a lack of perspective and true understanding. And we can see this clearly, right? How do you expand this perspective? Connect with that energy and listen, right? Don't just approach things from your own view. Ask the universe to show you the totality of the picture, and recognize things are in your favor, that this is moving forward. You're connecting and giving birth to all this beautiful change. Wow. Okay, the last cross. Yeah. The Empress and the Princess of Discs, right? She is the mother, right? She is the child. And these are the energies that take care of each other and nurture each other in that reciprocity. And for you, it's about connecting to that energy. It's about connecting to that energy, right? In that reasonable action. For some of you, it will be about embodying that Empress and nurturing that child. For others, it will be about connecting to that Empress. But still, it's always here, whether you are the Empress or connecting to her, it's about that taking responsibility, seeing things clearly, right? In that loving, nurturing way, moving towards her and taking responsible action. That's the message, everyone. Move in loving flow, don your armor, extend your cup, pursue love, right? And pursue love with those who are in that reciprocal flow. Connect to that divine feminine energy, right? Pursue that with the totality of your being, and you will give birth to that Princess of Discs. The success will materialize, and everything is going to be in so much better, right? The key here is about reasoned action, taking new opportunities, and donning that armor, and pursuing that connection, right? If you can do that, and you can connect to her, listen to her, success and the princess are here, and you will overcome this. All right. Beautiful energy, beautiful energy. That really resonated with me. I hope it resonated with you. Thank you so much for watching. And we're going to do one final sortes. Let me see here. We'll go back to book 4. Okay. So, muses, what is the final message today? Inspire our audience. All right. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. Behold, I am yesterday, today, and the brother of tomorrow. I've talked about this many a time, right? We are that passage through time, that extending snake. You are the yesterday, today, and you will be the tomorrow. All right, everyone. Peace and love. Thank you so much. I hope I'll see you again soon. Take care.